systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. So how can you get started using Globus? Anyone can use Globus right now for free to transfer files between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. So how can you get started using Globus? Anyone can use Globus right now for free to transfer files between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can...
One, two, one, two. One, two, one, two. One, two.
Yeah, watch me get settled and sonically acclimated. A little rusty, but my vocals untarnished, cause all derated. Rap my shy out the muck and my emerged immaculate with bars that's blacker than that charcoal that's powdered and activated. This is God talk, Vedas in the vernacular, surface and all of my subtext, psalms in every pentameter. I'm out to rule every foot and square inch of the planet around the parameter. Too many L's and too many dubs equated to my present stamina. And I ain't a quitter, ain't your babe, I'm not your sweetie or your hunter. More like a tiller, might go savage on these samples, leaving them hollow. Hand me the filler, struck a nerve with forever. Never thought that speaking freely could be worth a million. When the last time a rapper made the people Philippine, homie, call me Manila. Melon drip, coming for everything edible, hell of a trip. Every remark I spit designer in the patriarchy, that's edible shit. I'm part Rico, halfway lethal, Queen Yashantua, better than Brits. That's why my English broken, guy named Golden Gold, my medals tips. Wait, I noticed you might be a bit confused. My lyric mastery like a can of gasoline after they done lit the fuse. I'm triple blackness in a post-apocalyptic mood, amassing the survivors to a rather highly gifted brood. I'm unpredictable on these written admissions. I'll either have rivals bow out or bow their heads in contrition. I'm a visionary pioneer tilted towards the constellations. My holy lyrics gotta follow in the God's religions. No validation needed, my flow off the meter. I go off on rap tirades and park my name behind hip-hop's elitists. The only evidence that I need to prove I'm on my way, cause I hear the people shouting rocket alley, boom, I am.
Boom, I am.
put this on the tribe. I'm a whole fucking vibe. I'm the standards redefined, rooted, decolonized, disrupted the paradigm so bitches get deified. Way to wisdom applied, gon' get my niggas untied tonight. With the shits, I be remiss not to oblige to fight. The goddess peeling clouds back just to see the light of day. My niggas going John with a spoon to fucking coordinate. It's all black, everything, drums, bang, bang, bang.
Talking to your roots, bit, barren fruit, been had the juice, bitch. Who are you? We 100 proof.
Bring the drums in. Bring the drums in.
And this bitch talking to your roots, bit, barren fruit, been had the juice, bitch. Who are you? We 100 proof.
Guess we the ones then.
Yeah, guess we the ones then. It's just me and my crown. They say the trumpet will sound. They say my skin is renowned. Replicates from the ground. Poetry when it's written. Divination with spitted. This melanated conviction. I'm black as fuck on these bitches. My solar plexus, I'm prison. Offspring of the trenches. Hella voluminous pivot. Co-on the sun with my glisten. My dialect intuition. I done set my intentions. All my niggas is God, so call this shit intervention. Look, I put this on the tribe. The crucifix on his side. Nobody been vilified, but still defying the odds like us. Touch the blazer, call me savior like I'm Mary's baby. But I'm arch nemesis of Satan. Pouring up libations, God cadence, call it invocation. Return to greatness, they anticipated. Fuck around and summon the awakened. They yelling Gucci, I'm still FUBU, nigga. This Oromo, this Igbo, this Zulu, nigga.
And this bitch talking to your roots, bit, barren fruit, been had the juice, bitch. Who are you? We 100 proof.
Bring the drums in. Bring the drums in.
And this bitch talking to your roots, bit, barren fruit, been had the juice, bitch. Who are you? We 100 proof.
Guess we the ones then.
Guess we the ones then. It's just me and my crown. They say the trumpet will sound. They say my skin is renowned. Replicates from the ground. Poetry when it's written. Divination with spitted. This melanated conviction. I'm black as fuck on these bitches. My solar plexus, I'm prison. Offspring of the trenches. Hella voluminous pivot. Co-on the sun with my glisten. My dialect intuition. I done set my intentions. All my niggas is God, so call this shit intervention.
Well, the secret is, you got to coordinate. Most people don't coordinate. So you got to coordinate.
Goddess, vibe, kingdom, reign. Chin up, don't frown. My crown, stain. No ice, still drip. Fuck yo, chains. Still trends we flip the game. We won't be defined by the media's images. Do you know how lit my village is? Fuck all your privilege. Still dope as shit when you holding us back. That's some colossal facts. And no, you cannot touch my hair. You better not fucking dare. I got magic in there. Shit, I got magic to spare. Go run me my money. If you like my culture, then fund it. My melanin drip like drip like drip like ooh. I'm so wavy, ocean blue. I glow when it's under you. My drip, my drip, my drip. My melanin drip like drip like drip like ooh. I'm so wavy, ocean blue. I glow when it's under you. My drip, my drip, my drip. Red, green, and black colors, true. Drip down to my socks and shoes. 10 toes, stay down, making moves. Broken language, cause I choose. I chose these words so my voice could be heard. I chose these shoes, these jerseys, these hoops. My hair in loops, not braided for you. Drip.
Calculated radical, born with an attitude. I'm never mad at you. The magnitude matters and most of you. Living in impeccable privilege and it's your business, but you're coming with the quickness of we attacking the blue. Watch out with a sign, a suit and tie, we get a line, voted with a mind, what's qualified immunity. Cut mutinity, scream, I can't breathe, fuck your belief, I'm through. Hit 'em with a running and a numbing, but you go arrest the gunman when they're shooting up a movie or a school. Never seen a mass murderer get in a burger when he deserved to be put in the chair, I'm feeling rude. Living a madness, fucking with niggas, I had it, finna become a savage. My reaction is so automatic, don't confuse the passion. Ignorant, I wanna plead the fifth for just a little bit. I had a couple shots and now I'm feeling it with vinegar.
My melanin drip like drip like drip like ooh. I'm so wavy, ocean blue. I glow when it's under you. My drip, my drip, my drip. My melanin drip like drip like drip like ooh. I'm so wavy, ocean blue. I glow when it's under you. My drip, my drip, my drip. Drip, drip, ooh, drip, drip. drip like. Feminine drip like drip like drip like. Like drip like drip like drip. Drip, 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 drip.
What up, though? What's going on? Like, for fuck's sake, these songs, the 3 songs I played today are like, what do we got here? That last one, 16,000 views. 16,000. Right? In 2 months. Let me mute this real quick. Sound of the Goddess, 15,000. Saw Rock, 85,000. Right? All 3 of those songs were bangers. Shit's wild, yo. I was going to talk because, by the way, if you're interested in supporting these artists as you should be, make sure that you are in the Discord. I'll be posting those in the Music from Stream channel, so you can check those out, give them likes, boost those numbers. I was going to talk some more about the Bigot Wizard game, but because your man Renegade Cut put out a video, but I think we've done it. I'll go ahead and post the links in the Discord if you want to check it out, but I feel like you're either in or you're out at this point. So moving on. While we wait for Bink to show up, we're going to talk about UFOs. Right? Because that's like, you've been hearing that shit a lot lately, right? And, you know, the term UFO tends to invoke, you know, aliens and shit, right? Which may not, in fact, have anything to do with it. It literally means unidentified flying object. It's an object that's flying and it's not identified. That applies to all the things that are flying, unidentified, and objects. But people automatically assume aliens or something. What's the government hiding from us? Blase, blase. The other thing, like, around that is, you know, that we know, whatever, but it has been reported and allegedly confirmed by the Chinese government that the first one was a weather balloon, right? And all 4 or 5 objects that have been, discussed and shot down and everything else could be, Chinese weather balloon kind of things. And okay, right? Like, if they released a bunch of them at the same time and a weather event happened and it pushed them in the direction of the United States, and that could happen. But let's take another look. Oh, yeah. During the Trump presidency, there's at least 3 confirmed times that balloons went over the United States and nobody freaked the fuck out and shot it down or anything else. Right? And then the Chinese are saying that the United States flies weather balloons over China all the fucking time. So there's one of those parts of media literacy is like, you got to take a step back and really think about, like, what portions of the data do I not have access to? What am I not hearing? What are they not saying? And that's how we end up in that. What the fuck is up? Now this is starting to irritate me. I am pointing, checking timing. Okay, my sound is good. I'm not like lagging on sound to video. But for some reason, my goddamn visualizer is fucking off. Can we, like, just make the thing... Oh, maybe that's it. And I feel like that would be correct. But do I have another option? Desktop audio is not going to work because my voice doesn't go through desktop audio. If I do this, no. Do. So many options. What about that? No. What about that? There we go. So I could do that, but then I need to, like, duplicate it. And then can I adjust? If I adjust this to desktop audio, then I should have 2 of them. One for my voice, which is now working properly, and one for the Discord. Duh. let me play a little something. And then I talk, and it's different, right? Doesn't supersede the other one. I'm the one that you want, take it easy. You can make it inside. Okay, I think that should work. I guess we will find out at the appropriate time. Do 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 do. Now there's always the possibility. I'm just gonna say this now, just in case, that something has occurred and Pink will not be here at 5:30. I was getting nervous, right? Like, I rarely don't get nervous before the thing. And it's like, you know, I mean, shit happens, and I understand this, and I am flexible and easygoing, and you know this, right? You've been here long enough to know that I am as mellow as fuck with people who need to reschedule or any issues that come up, because you have to be. The alternative is to freak the fuck out all the time. But still a little nervous when my guests are not like around and not logged into Discord 10 minutes before we're supposed to chat. But we improvise, we adapt, we move on, we overcome. What up, Alina? Oh. Who doesn't love some anxiety in the evening? Little anxiousness. Do 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 do. Everybody knows about what happened in Ohio, right? My man Big PJ said that every streamer should be talking about it, so I am mentioning it. I don't want to focus on it. Shit is wild. Shit is fucking wild. Yeah. Shit is wild. And Big PJ put up a map, right? And it had the Ohio River Basin and like potential counties affected in yellow going around the Ohio River. But some of those yellow county blocks of potential being affected are like uncomfortably close to where I live, and But, capitalism, right? Need to do the capitalism. If we don't do the capitalism, then we don't have the capitalism, and we got a capitalism to capitalism and capitalism harder. And capitalism more. All my gift subs are running out. My head's a sad. Hey! Shout out Ben Fish for giving me a gift sub to Kaya. I don't think I even noticed. I think I've been missing the Kaya streams. I'm the one natural one, take it easy. We can take it inside. Any important AI porn raises flags over deepfakes, consent, and harassment of women? No shit. Like, yes. Thank you for finally catching up. The deepfake shit's been going on for a minute, right? A minute. Do. Take a look at a little news. A little newski. A little newsarino. AI is speeding us towards intelligent computers in the singularity, Pioneer says. John Hennessy, a Silicon Valley pioneer and former Stanford president, says AI progress is stunning. Yeah, well, no. AI expectations surged with 2022's debut of ChatGPT. And then this is just like everybody's getting it. Can we just acknowledge, right? Like that. I'm not saying I was the first, right? Like to talk about AI. There are other people talk about AI. AI gets talked about, so on and so forth. But like, I was out here, man. I found my niche and I set it up and like I was talking about it. I got a record of talking about this shit, and now everybody's in my bandwagon, right? Everybody is in my bandwagon. Do. Hennessy sees AI today as an amplifier. Yes. A similar concept to Microsoft's position of AI as a co-pilot. I may not get a video that's perfect or a PowerPoint presentation or a paragraph that's perfect, but maybe I get something I can really work with, then use some human intelligence to make it even better. Google is concerned about the problems as well, which is why it didn't race to release Bard until after ChatGPT stole so much of its attention. And this sentence right here is really like one of the most telling aspects of the situation, right? Again, we're talking about capitalism. That in capitalism, if you are acting responsibly around the technology, you are under capitalism doing your shareholders a disservice, and therefore doing your company a disservice, because if someone else gets to the thing faster right? They become the thing. Now you can have a usurper. Like before Google, there were other options. There was Ask Jeeves, there was Yahoo, there were others. But the Google got there with its package and was able to, to take over in that regard. More often, though, whoever gets there first dominates market share. We all know what market share is. Market share is share of the market, right? Markets are inherently limited. There's only so much interest in a particular product, and to dominate that market share gives you options. Apple has a fair amount of market share in cell phones, for instance, in smartphones. And this allows them to make minor tweaks, put out another model of iPhone, and people who are in that ecosystem will jump on the new iPhone and and trade it in. We've essentially reached with cell phones to the same place that cars did once they started leasing, right? You are going to pay for this phone over a period of time. It's part of your monthly bill. And then you are going to flip it for the next phone, right? And this is why they offer you the the rebate on your existing phone if you sign up for the new phone, is because one, they don't make a huge amount of money on phones, if they make any money at all. What they do make money on is the service. So they get you in and they keep you coming back for additional service, and they keep getting that monthly that monthly income from you. And then they can take your old phone and refurbish it and resell that. So they're not losing any money in that regard. They're making whatever they're selling it to you, they're making that money back. And then they got you hooked in the ecosystem. There she is. All right. I love it when a plan comes together. I need to clean up all my scenes.
This name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail. Well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia.
Thank you for the follow. And then we move you there. And then I click this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Fan? Can you hear my fan?
I cannot hear your fan.
Okay, nice. All right, I hope I'm not too late.
No, you're pretty much perfectly on time. Like I told Chad, I got a little nervous, right? Like, we're coming up on it. We got 10 minutes. I'm not seeing you in Discord, like even, anything. And I'm like, like I know shit happens, right? So I'm like just concerned that something happened and you didn't have the opportunity to get back to me, and like that. But here you are, and I am happy, and I hope you are happy to be here.
Yeah. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
You want to introduce yourself to the people who don't know you?
Hi, I am Pink Princess. I'm the one and only true monarch, obviously. Um, I talk about politics. Majority of the time, I'm talking about history and doing social analysis based off of history rather than current events. Um, I talk about Jamaican politics. I'm Jamaican American. I'm first generation American. So I talk about that as well. So the political climate in Jamaica at the moment. And yeah, I'm just, a youth doing the youth things and, educating my fellow peers. So yeah.
And every so often you set up panels on Twitch, right?
Yeah, it was my first panel like last week or like the week before.
Yeah, no, and I'm definitely like, you can absolutely hit me up. Not only was like I in the middle of like choring and stuff, but like I didn't know that I was like an appropriate person to be on that panel. Like I definitely have some takes, but like I mean, from where I'm coming from, it felt like it should have been, y'all's panel, not my face on there. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you what I told Elvis because it was I was organizing it with him. So it's as long as you are a verifiable Black person, you can be on the panel.
Right.
You're verifiably Black, okay? Because we can't do the poser shit. You feel me?
Exactly.
Can't do that.
Exactly. But I
yeah.
appreciate the fuck out of the invitation. I was like, I feel honored, but like, no.
No, it's all good. That topic was a really weird one because I purposely created it for it to be off topic.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why like the panel kind of seemed more cumbersome,
mm-hmm.
for lack of a better term, because it was supposed to be a gateway topic than it to be actually focusing on Garvey himself. It was supposed to be like a broader conversation while using Garvey as a center figure to talk about the broader topics.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciated listening to the panel. It was like, it shows you the difference between people who actually want to talk about something and discuss ideas. Everyone was like relatively polite except making jokes, where your Twitch panels are all like, people just popping off to score dunks and nothing is accomplished and it's garbage,
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Feel that.
And are you still in school now?
No, I dropped out. I can't afford school.
That's rough. What were you going to school for?
For Africana studies. I planned on being a high school teacher, having an Africana studies degree, and pursuing research, like in the field.
Are you hoping to get back there, and like just putting it off for now, or do you have to choose a different direction?
Basically all three. You have to hustle it out to get a degree. So
you're like me. You kind of view a lot of things through a historical lens, right? You have that same approach when it comes to history, that which has come before, influences the now. And if you don't understand what was come before, then you won't understand what's happening now, right?
Right.
So, one of the things you have, like a particular take on like socialism. Like you're not into like socialism. Like, do you want to elaborate on that or just take it as
okay? So, I generally don't define myself economically just due to like it not being, how do I say this? People interact with politics with the lack of intersectionality, generally speaking. So for me personally, looking at like class and economic structures isn't my first on my list if we were to paint everything black and white. So for me, I haven't heard a explanation of socialism without it seeming like edgy capitalism to me.
Okay.
Because when it comes on to advocacy wise, what it seems like is that the use of like worker co-ops or like unions, which is like the most likely thing to be implemented, is like the increase of unions. That seems like to be the main advocacy. And in my head, it just seems like capitalism, but well, in my country, we are a union. When in my perspective, because my family comes from a developing country, it just seems like, well, some people are more, some people have more safety nets to unionize or go on strike or to demand increased wages than other people. So it very much gives off privileged energy to me, and it doesn't seem like an actual solution to inequality compared to like I don't know, compared to really capitalism. I'm gonna keep it a band.
Right, like how Endless says, having whites only on the high-speed rail kind of thing.
Yeah, like that type of energy for sure.
Yeah, and there historically, like unions have often had issues with dealing with, you know, people of color. Like that is unfortunately been one of the things. Is like, yeah, you're going for worker solidarity, but only workers of a particular type. And yeah, I don't blame you for seeing a lot of what Ryan. It's like when people say, you know, Marxist Leninist, it's like, okay, those are two old white Europeans, right? Like, let's talk about, you know, let's talk about like people who could be defined as socialists, but like from the greater world where there are fewer Europeans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like how do I say this? If I was to have like my ideal like world in a sense of like not capitalism, my ideal world when it comes on to economic structure, it would very much give like Silk Road energy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It would very much give old time, like I have have like 10 camels with a whole bunch of like cargo. Like it was very much give everybody has their own business for and everybody has their own discipline that they work in, whether it be passed down or not, and you have it community based. That would be my ideal structure, but it's not realistic if I'm gonna keep it a band, because we've seen this today with like the whole thing of like black owned businesses, and people are like, okay, there's black owned businesses, but who is the target audience though? Because it'll be like a black owned business, and say it's a t-shirt, right? It's a t-shirt, or like a hoodie, right? Let's say hoodie would be a better example. Hoodies are like $20, right? Average like hoodie that like a person of like lower class, quote unquote, buys like $20, right? $20 to maybe like $40. You as a black owned business know that people are doing like the whole I need to support black owned businesses thing from out of the community So what you do is you higher the price because that is your target audience. It's basic business shit, right?
Right.
So my brain is not working. I'm so sorry. I just went on that tangent and I forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about how, like, when you have a black-owned business, you're going to target people outside of the community, and when you raise their price like that, I'm assuming this is where you were going. When you raise a price like that, it makes it more difficult for, lower-income people in the community to purchase those items.
Oh, yeah. So basically what I'm saying is, like, that's my ideal economic structure, for lack of a better word. But it's not realistic due to in our society, our current society, there's always a cheaper option.
Right.
So why would I it's the dilemma I think a lot of people need to talk about, because I'll give you an example. I'm a very big fashion girl, and one of the things that people say is, oh, well, buy vintage, go thrift shopping, do hand-me-downs and stuff like that, right? Which is supposed to be a counter to doing fast fashion. But the issue that people don't realize is that fast fashion makes a lot of money because its target audience is poor people. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000%, that's who its target audience is. Its target audience is people who make a low income.
Right.
So your alternatives were cheaper back in the day, but they're not cheaper now because of the side effects of capitalism. When there end up being a solution, that solution end up gaining, it end up becoming a market, and people end up gaining capital off of that market. So I'll give you an example. Thrift stores. Thrift stores used to be cheap.
Right.
Thrift stores may still be cheap, but thrift stores, because of like the whole of like the popularization and the commodification of like alternative culture, people don't go to thrift stores anymore because people don't see alternative culture as, being anti-capitalist or counterculture, right? They see it as, this is the fashion that I want. And when I go to the store, that's a thrift store. It does not have that. That's exactly why stuff like Hot Topic or Spencer's is popular, because it is an easy-to-go place where you can just get shit where it's already made, right? So understanding that like cycle and understanding how capitalism perpetuates itself by default is extremely important when it comes on to like looking at solutions. And it's kind of why I tend to not focus on economics as much, is because it becomes a loophole extremely quickly. And especially since if we're not going like the more socialist route, it can become a mischaracterization of what the solution is, because that's how capitalism perpetuates itself. Just like the fat acceptance movement or body acceptance movement, right? Quote unquote, right? Body acceptance movement is you live in your own body, be comfortable in your own body, have high self-esteem because you are uniquely you. The only thing that matters is your health over your appearance, right? But that's not what people see, because that's not what capitalism allows people to see. That's not what is profitable. It's just like with the whole SJW era, whatever. People weren't running around being quote unquote stereotypical SJWs, but it's popular to see that though, right? That's how media works. Right. So yeah, that's just my whole thing about the whole economic structure and everything. It's very much a loophole, and a bounce back effect by default, in my opinion.
Yeah, like wherever you have like the dominant status quo culture, the media culture, things like that, they like to put stuff in boxes, right? Like you got your Gen X, you got your millennial, you got your Zoomers, and in spite of the fact that the number of times you hear someone say something like so-and-so group is not a monolith, the status quo, media culture, everything else wants to treat it like a monolith so that it can define you and put you in that box, when people are infinitely more complicated and, you know, diverse because of their own personal experiences.
Right. It's a part of the dehumanization of certain groups as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's about making people a spectacle or a character, or making the ideas of certain things seem like a fantasy world in order to make profit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And that's, I mean, that is a common occurrence with, like, you know, black culture and anything outside the you know, the white status quo kind of thing. Is like they see that culture, they commodify it and take it away from, you know, its roots, and completely disconnect it and disassociate it from the people who created it.
Right. But yeah.
So one of the things that I caught with, like, stuff that you had been saying at various points is that you're not a fan of, like, this concept of transhumanism.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of transhumanism. I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of taking the environment for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I will admit I'm not the most eco-friendly person. I kind of can't be by default just because of my situation currently. I would if I could, but it's not something I'm able to participate in, sadly. But I think that when creating our ideologies or our ideal worlds, the environment should be one of our peak priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only reason why I'm like, I don't know about transhumanism. I don't know about that.
Because, like, one of the concerns is that, like, you know, once people start getting, like, implants and robot arms and what have you, that who's going to benefit first and mostest from it. And then, you know, like with cell phones, it's like it creates its own culture of, like what I was talking a few minutes ago about, like, Apple phones, right? We're on this cycle of the new Apple phone, and people keep getting caught up in that, getting that new Apple phone, which is like that rental culture, which extracts wealth from the working class, and then because of that, it is going to naturally affect poor people the most, right?
Right. So I agree with that concern, like, wholeheartedly. My thing was more so about the, how do I say this? Basically electrical waste that we produce, that I tend to see is generally ignored.
Yeah.
So basically, like, just like what you said with the new iPhone or whatever, people throw away electronics that they could easily fix, or it may be 1,000% unredeemable, so you throw it into, you know, whatever pile it is. And that situation, on top of, we have to use a lot of natural resources, not talking about like the production, but as in material, in order to create said electronics, doesn't seem like a sustainable future if we become more dependent on modern day, like, stereotypical technology.
Yeah. No, I mean that's absolutely a fair concern, and the location of these resources also doesn't lend itself to responsible caretaking of the planet. Like when you're extracting them from places where dollars can dominate rather than interest in the people, it's going to lead to poor outcomes for the people.
Right. Um the only way I can see transhumanism being a I can't even say that because let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can live in abundance materially doesn't mean you should.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have the ability to dominate or to partake in something doesn't mean you should. And I think that's how I feel when it comes on to like nature and like how we treat the earth, where okay, it's cool that we have phones or whatever, but like you don't have to have one. You don't have to like mine whatever mineral, whatever, just because you feel like it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to, like you don't have to cut down a tree for no reason. Like, you don't have to do that. It's a thing where we as a species are ungrateful when it comes on to Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to see it as another form of dominance instead of understanding the importance of the resources that we actually currently have. Now if there's alternatives to what, like if there's like solutions for like what like my concerns about like the nature or whatever, I'm totally fine. I'm 1,000% fine with transhumanism. That it is what it is. Like it's not that deep. But as I said, the environment should 1,000% be first, because we can't live without the environment. Like, period. Like, if there's a drought, who we see die in mass numbers. Like if it's a storm that nobody was prepared for, like who's gone? It's not anything to play with. And I think that understanding the gravity of which nature plays a role in our consumption as well as our livelihood is important, and it should be something that we focus on. I want to say at least like the top 3 or top 5 priority when it comes on to really anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't seem to be concerned about the collateral damage that we're doing in general, because the people who like have the the power to make decisions are not taking things seriously, right? Like, and it makes us it makes things like like climate change is happening, and there are people saying we can't do anything about it because it could disrupt the economy. It's like, well, we're all gonna die, right? Like,
no, literally. I actually should show you this because it's and climate change is kind of a touchy subject for me, just because of, like, as I said, where my family's from Jamaica. So like if one huge flood happens, it's over.
Right.
It's over. It's quite literally over. Like, I'm gonna show you this airport. So you can see what I'm talking about. Because I constantly have to show people this, because it's sad to say this, but people have to be traumatized in order to, really see what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna just show you this. I'm finding the picture now, so don't.
Yeah, no problem.
We can still, talk and everything.
You're 100% correct. Like, there's that people in the art field, right? Like, didn't have a concern about the way that capitalism was infringing on people's livelihoods and and crushing them until AI showed up at their front door, So
right.
Until it's personal, people have a real difficult time with seeing a thing as like being a real thing. It's ephemeral and it just exists out there until it actually happens to them.
So for context, because I'm still looking for this fucking image, it's so hard to look for it. Oh, actually, I think I can show this one. I think I can show this one. But basically, actually, yes. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god, I found it. Yay. Okay. I wish this fucking image wasn't blurry though. Okay, so for context, this is an airport in Jamaica, and
where are you showing this?
I'm gonna just drop it in the your chat thingy. I just dimmed it to you. But basically, it is an airport, and that is the road to cross to the other side of the island, basically. And when it rains, that whole strip of road to cross to the other side is flooded. It's literally underwater.
So the on the right here is the airport, and this little white line that squiggles up towards the island, that's the road.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. So the body of water on the left is a lake. The one on the right is the ocean.
Okay.
So it rains, that script is done. It's done. It's just water. And one thing that I didn't realize until I went to Jamaica is that there's not always beaches. Sometimes it's literally just a structure and water at the same level, and just by the grace of God or whatever you want to call it, it's just not underwater.
Wow. Yeah,
like it's literally on the same level. It's just a separation.
Like there's some shit that when I see it like this, it's like, who the fuck thought of this and they did not think it through,
Yeah, I mean, like, even like Port Royal it was a town that just, there was an earthquake and it just, it's just underwater now. Like, it just broke off and it's underwater now. Like the infamous pirate city, it's just underwater now, just casually just underwater.
That is wild.
It's underwater, and as I said, like I'm gonna put this one too, just so you can see what I mean by it's underwater. So you remember how I told you it was how there's some parts that are like at equal level and it's just water, and then it's like land, but it's just right there. Like there should be a beach, but it's not a beach. Yeah, that's the same thing. So you see the yellow line?
Yeah.
There is a I believe that structure is the what is it called? It's not a slave port. The little buildings that they used to put the people in.
Okay.
that little hub thing where they used to auction people off and everything, keep them captive. That's where that is, right there. And that's at the edge of the sea. So that could have fell too, but it just didn't.
Right.
So like, climate change is no joke, yo. Like, it's literally no joke. It's no joke whatsoever. It's privileged to deny climate change. It's peak privilege and arrogance and ignorance to deny climate change in whatever capacity it may be.
Yeah, like the thing that just happened in Ohio with the the explosion and the chemicals and everything, and it's like these people are fucked, right? Like the people who live there are fucked, and I mean this is man-made more than like act of God kind of thing, but it's indicative of our entire approach to these kind of things. Is like, what do? They have no place to live anymore, right? Like if they live there, then there's nothing there, and the people who can deny it, like the people who own the railroads, they don't live there, so they don't give a fuck.
Right. So how do I say this? Okay, just due to how we currently live in a white supremacist capitalist honestly, all of the isms, if I'm gonna keep it a band, all of the isms you could ever imagine, all of them right now, currently in the wake, all of them, just due to that being the current state of society, the lack of intersectionality and the lack of internationalism is what's going to hurt a lot of people. It hurts a lot of people because how do I say this? Understanding that when it comes on to developments, we tend to see it be it's upheld in the West first. It's upheld in the West, and then maybe some of East Asia, and then that's it. Everywhere else doesn't really get to indulge in the same capacity in which we indulge in happiness or freedom, in the sense of like privileges and work environment. The lack of intersection and internationalism creates this barrier between leftists in the West and leftists who are from developing countries, because it seems like your advocacy only stands with yourself and people who look like you or behave like you. Your advocacy only is one-dimensional and isn't allowed to be applied generally, even though it doesn't have to, but it isn't allowed to be done generally, and it feels like you are only for the marginalized person in your country instead of marginalized people in general. It's very much, it gives social capital, and it very much gives lack of effort, and it very much gives, I only can like people I can tolerate if I'm gonna keep it 1,000%. Because there's this thing where let's put it this way. You do not have to do the X, Y, Z, and Z and everything in the book for a country that you are not participating in. That's not the point. The point is that if you are a person, right, who is intersectional in thinking, you will cross country lines. It's by default a part of intersectionality. It is also a thing of, by default, being anti-capitalist, anti-fascist, anti-imperialist, and anti-colonialist to be international. If you are not international, you are not any of those things. Right. Period. There is a reason why our foreparents, right? So the people who were the people of the civil rights movement, or people who are part of the anti-colonialist revolutions and activism and everything. There's a reason why they interacted with one another across country lines. And I feel like the lack of how do I say this? The lack of lenses that people are not, the lack of that type of lens is very devastating, and it gives not understanding what we're talking about here. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000%. And there's also the point of view of understanding different cultures and understanding different environments allows you to humanize not only people of your ethnicity or race, or whatever the case may be, but it also helps to build solidarity. Because if I can go up to a let's say if I can go up to an Japanese youth and talk about their sexualization while also talking also relating it to mine as a Black youth, it 1,000% becomes a conversation in how tools are enacted upon marginalized groups, but also how we can create change, which is something that I feel like people are very much lacking in their personal toolbox when it comes on to advocacy.
Yeah, no, I see it when I see, without naming names, certain high profile leftist streamers and whatnot. When they talk about things, they give me the same vibes as like the pull yourself up by your bootstraps crowd, because they're talking about like one size fits all kind of philosophies and ethical, like normative ethical frameworks, where they're like, I don't see myself as whatever group, and you can't talk like that about this because that's just as bad as these guys from 1930s Germany. And it's like, you really don't understand anything of what's going on here, right? Like, things are different because people are different, and how groups are treated reflects how they need to interact with the world. It's like with republicanism. I don't like I don't like states, right? I don't like countries in my heart, but I understand that groups of people need to have countries in the intervening period in order to have self-determination, right? Like,
Please, oh my God, please say this again. Please say this again. Please say this again. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna be toxic. Right?
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna be toxic because this type of energy needs to be the same type of energy we interact when it comes on to religion. Look, listen, I know. Look, listen, I understand the whole it's toxic, the bigotry. I get it. Okay, I'm a person who's against it too. But at the same exact time, people are existential in our nature. We tend to, generally speaking, be existential. What you're going to tell me is that not only are you going to rip down our previous structures, which gave a meaning to existence, right, or an explanation, you are going to tear down the ones that you also gave us. So what are we supposed to do now? Because if I'm gonna keep it 1,000%, that's why, like, one of the things that helped us get through a lot of things as the Black community is the church. You can't tell me you want to tear down the church, but not also address the fact that, first of all, you put that structure there to begin with, A. And then B, you scrutinize us for participating in any other religion or any spirituality that is Afrocentric. You call us demons. You say we curse people, that we hex people, that we worship Satan. You say all of the X, Y, and Z and Z, but when we practice your religion, you want to tear that down. So what you're telling us is that you want people of color to have no hope. Because that's what, by default, the church does. I'm sorry, it's bad to say it that way because it's very much a toxic structure, but that's what it does. It does. It's a consequence of its structure, or at least its teaching.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I am, personally, hardcore atheist. I don't believe in anything that I can't measure and shit like that. But by the same token, I understand that, like, in America especially, like, the number one place that Black folks can congregate is in a church, right? Like, that's where they can associate freely and like that without weird looks from the authorities. So, like, I don't talk about religion, right? Like, I have my personal opinions.
Yeah.
If I'm asked, I'll say something, but generally it's like that is other people's business. And like 1,000 years from now, we can talk about that once we hit some greater state of being. But in the meantime, I need to associate on more current, in our face kind of issues, and I'm not going to start fights with people over what they choose to believe.
Also, the church is where we have the most political structure. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000, 1,000,000,000%, other than unions that are predominantly Black, right? That is the only place we have actual political power. Period. And I don't mean as in like the church as, the church and its toxicity and its hand over people. I mean as in if it's a local run for office, you getting co-signed by a Black church, especially in the South, means 1,000% a lot. So when you analyze certain things, you have to analyze it from multiple perspectives in order to understand the gravity and the bigger picture. Sometimes, and I know it's hard because I struggle with this too, sometimes you have to put your personal traumas and your issues aside and look at certain things with a clear lens and from a different point of view altogether in order to not be very self-centric. Because that's also something that I tend to see when it comes on to interacting with other cultures. Instead of it be, this is a completely different state of being, a state of reality, a state of existence. It's, well, from my lens, and it's like, babes, you're learning about a completely different culture. Nobody gives a fuck about your lens, because when people say that, you're generally speaking imposing yourself on another person's culture. And let this be known, you can call out the monstrosities of an other culture without comparing and saying, well, we do X, Y, and Z here. Because certain stuff are just objectively bad, period. I'm sorry, it's just true. You are objectively causing harm. It has nothing to do with you comparing cultures or you being better than X, Y, Z, and Z. There's nothing to do with that. I wish people would know that and understand that better.
Well, this is when I started this channel, I was doing two things. One was, talking to people about Stream, how to use OBS and use these basic features so that more people could, see that it's not that difficult to get started, at least, And then the other thing was history, because like people don't understand, like as much as real history can be talked about as a thing, people don't even understand the real fake history that they're taught. And like,
Right.
I mean, like from some of my heritage is Ireland, right? Like, so Ireland
Right.
is dealing
Same.
with the English, and they got the separation, and they're trying to unify their country, and they're doing it right now, which I think is beautiful and everything else. And that is the context that allowed me to look at other people in other countries who are trying to form their own, states to have that political entity, even though I hate states in general. Like, there are
Right.
stages to the process that you really have to go through. It's like Marxists
Right.
who pop off about, just going, straight through to the whatever utopia. It's like, you got to go through stages. You got to build shit and do shit. You can't just go right from here to there. People aren't. It's
Right.
not magic.
It's not. And that's also an issue that I tend to come across, in which not every, and this is me speaking generally, so everybody get y'all a little book and everything, because I'm going to preach real quick. Okay. Not everybody is on your same level intellectually. And when I say that, I mean as in the abundance of knowledge that you currently hold.
Mhm.
So it is important to interact with various types of people instead of it being one or the other, because sometimes it's something as simple as, well, I didn't know that some people like being talked to a certain type of way. Sometimes it's I learned a different vocabulary.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is I learned a different way to express myself. There's a very big importance of understanding how to communicate knowledge and interact with other knowledge that I feel like a lot of people lack. A lot of people lack that tool. And it's sad, because I think it's something that is it's something that is very how do I say this? It's when you have it in your tool set, it's 1,000% like it's always there, and it's always something to grab at. It's very cherishable.
Mm-hmm.
It's very useful. And it's, I don't know what am I getting at, but it's just, I don't know. That's just what came in my mind, because it's very much something I interact with IRL, with like my parents being older, as well as online, when it comes on to not everybody like going through the same like education that I've been through.
Mm-hmm. I think, and you can absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I think what you're getting at is how we have lost interest in our curiosity and being curious, and like not curious
Right.
as in just doing shit, but like curious as into like admitting that we don't know something, being able to want to learn about stuff, and being able to let the other person, teach us about the thing that we're trying to learn, and like meet people where they are, as opposed to like, no, you got to come to where I am and then we can have a talk.
Yeah, there has to be a mutual agreement so that you can interact with people in a way that is fruitful. And then that's also the thing where let's go back into the thing about like AI and like and like leftism, where not everybody has the same amount of knowledge as I do. So generally speaking, I tend to interact with them. We all have this, have the conversations. Everybody know how I talk. Everybody know how I spit and everything. So it's not like it's nothing new. But I interact with people the way that they come with me, because sometimes I don't even know certain vocabulary. Sometimes I didn't even realize that there's like, that there were like colonialism in like other countries by different empires. Like sometimes there's knowledge that's there that's important. And then it goes into like communal knowledge, right? Or cultural knowledge that not everybody is aware of, like how there's different sayings in different cultures that you would never you would never heard of, like one of the ones that's my favorite, so body positivity is different in Jamaica. It's different. So so one of the sayings is you're fat and round like an English pound. And nobody bats an eye when anybody says that because everybody says it. Or like, and then when I say that, I mean as in like it's not a shameful thing to be overweight, because when you're overweight, that means you're eating good.
Right.
That's what it means. So, or like a thing where like a name will be like Fatty Boom Boom. That's a thing that everybody will say. Like there's certain things that is rich in the sense of understanding that there's different ways of living and there's different ways of interaction. And when it comes on to leftism, having that type of tool in your toolbox allows you to be not only international but intersectional, and it allows for progress. And the point that I'm trying to get at is that we're people, and people are multi-layered.
Right.
And to be able to be multi-layered will help us progress as a people and progress as a as society. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean that's why like some of these leftists out here, they're like, I'm a blankist, and it's like, that's weird. I am anti-hierarchy and pro-democracy. Like I keep it simple so that I can talk to the greatest number of people. It's like people overcomplicate themselves into these finite little, like, the only person who meets that criteria is you, bro. So like, what are you exactly
That's
trying
the
to
only thing
accomplish?
that matters too.
Right.
Like, it's the only thing that matters too. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's terrible.
Yeah, and like it used to be like Marxist, and then it was Marxist-Leninist, and now they're Marxist-Leninist Maoist, and it's like, that's cool, but really, like, take a step back and look at that shit. It's like what Lenin did was he adapted Marxism for Russia, and what Mao did is he adapted Marxism for China, and what Ho Chi Minh did is adapted it for Vietnam. And that's how you do that kind of thing. If you really want to do the Marxist, thing, you have to adapt it for the conditions of your space. You can't take something that works in China and bring it over here, because China's got a completely different culture, and it's like thousands of years older than American culture. So it's not going to work.
Right. And our political climate and our history made it so that there's certain barriers that we have to overcome in order to even reach a point of being socialist or Marxist, just due to our history. Actually, run it back, just due to what being an American is and the American dream is. Just our foundation has to be ruptured in order for us to get to that point to begin with. And then that's where it goes into the thing that I was talking about when it comes out to knowledge, because not everybody came to that realization yet.
Right.
Not everybody is awake.
Yeah, you gotta build the scaffolding for people, to get where you are. And guess what? To everyone in the audience, everyone watching the VOD, everything else, some portions of your scaffolding could in fact be wrong. And being able to be okay with being mistaken about some shit, getting some new information and changing that up, this will benefit you more than sticking to your guns no matter what, because you are probably wrong about something.
Exactly. And just to talk about like the teaching thing a little bit, that's also kind of a fault of teaching, because when you get something wrong, you're scrutinized for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Fred Hampton said education is first priority. Exactly. Education is peak priority out of everything. It's peak priority because education gives different gateways, and I'm not talking about economically either. 1,000% allows you to express yourself, indulge. It allows you to have in my opinion, a new sense of existence. I'm going to keep it 1,000% because the amount of people that I've seen um that did not have the same privileges as me is astonishing to me because I'm like, damn, y'all, they really said, hey, yo, I'm not gonna lie, fuck kids for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like bamboozled because I was privileged enough for my mom to raise me as well as to foster my curiosity in which I can pursue my passions. And not everyone is allowed to do that because of their circumstances. And that's fucked. That's for me personally, that and like Black Elder shit is my most existential thought. Like, holy shit, kids can't be kids? That's fucking crazy, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we like my niece is currently staying with us, and like sometimes it for me as an adult, especially an elder adult, I'm like, this kid gets into shit and does shit, and it's like, it's exhausting, right? But by the same token, I am very like cognizant of how she is approaching her interaction with the world. And it's like, I don't want to crush your enthusiasm for, figuring shit out and checking shit out and doing new and interesting things. Because once you become an adult, if you don't, if that got crushed out of you, you're bad at being a human being, once you get to adulthood. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a thing, like especially in America, we crush a lot of kids. Again, curiosity is like where, the way that some parents treat their kids is I don't want to say criminal, but it's like, it offends my soul. It is like, you are teaching that kid to be a cog. You're not teaching them to be a person,
It's appalling.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It is inhumane if I'm gonna keep it 1,000 billion trillion %. Because what you're doing is you are slowly putting someone in a box, building someone to be a soldier. Because not gonna lie, that school to fucking military pipeline is no joke. No joke. I had military come to my school more than any college ever come to my school and talk about recruiting anybody.
Right.
It's terrible. But regardless, right? You're building up a person to not be seen or to behave like a person. You're not allowed to behave like a person. You're allowed to behave like insert descriptor. That's it. It is weird. It's weird for sure.
It is weird. It is. It's like if you can take a step back and objectively look at a lot of the things that we do, it's fucking weird,
No, literally, like this. I kind of want to do a video on like Black childhood because I feel like we don't even realize like how fucked it is for us for real. Because it's so normalized. All this shit is so normalized. We don't even take a second look at it. Like, why do we have to tell our kids, hey, yo, not gonna lie, I know you like playing with little Timmy over there, but you need to chill out with all that, being in the front yard shit because the police might pull up on you. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy, bro. He's just trying to play with his friend. What are you doing? Like, he can't even be chilling for real. You can't even go into a store as a kid and pick up a candy bar without somebody thinking you finna steal.
Right.
Like, huh? What? That's mind-boggling, yo. It's crazy. It's terrible, yo.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't have a frame of reference. You know, I am an outsider looking in. I have had, you know, a relatively like middle class, lower middle class, what have you, kind of upbringing. I have a certain skin tone and everything else, so my life has been different from a lot of people's. I can't even imagine like the talk, you know, that has to be had with young black men regarding the police. Like, I have had bad interactions with the police, but I've never had to do it while black, and that is a whole other thing, you know?
Yeah, and like, and this is also the thing. There's multiple talks. Can we please, y'all, please? There's multiple talks. Please, can we stop? Can we please? Okay, I'm trying not to be toxic. Can we please stop acting like there's only one talk? Because Lord, Mr. Jesus sitting on a cloud knows it is not one goddamn talk. It is not. I need people to stop, because your parents telling you, hey, yo, I need you to be inside by the time the lights come on is a talk. That is a talk. Right. That is a talk. I'm sorry. That is a talk. Them telling you, hey, yo, you can't be in X, Y, and Z town late at night is a talk. That is very much a talk. Them telling you, hey, yo, I'm not going to lie. I understand you want to wear whatever you want to wear. But at the same exact time, these people be out here really looking at you up crazy and everything. The fact that we have to sexualize our own children for us to tell them, hey, yo, you need to chill the fuck out, needs to be talked about, because that's also a thing. Let me explain something.
Yeah.
Let me explain something, because I need people to understand, okay? People understand. Black children were always sexualized. So when we look at our children, we have to say, hey, yo, not gonna lie, you can't be wearing shorts because people think you have a voluptuous body and you're 3. We have to say that. We have to. We can't allow our kids to be children or to be seen as children, because society does not see us as people. And I need people to have that drill inside their head too, because people be thinking we be wilding, and it's like, no, babes, we're not. Like, they were literally going after our children. Our children were literally getting assaulted day to day, and no, we could not do anything. We have to protect our kids. We had to. And that is a consequence of that, because it's not like it, first of all, it's not like it doesn't still happen. A. B. It's not like it didn't just recently, quote unquote, stop, because I need people to stop acting like the 70s and 80s weren't weird too.
Right.
Sorry, 70s and 80s were pure racism too. It was. And I mean, all that little stuff y'all be thinking about the 50s and 60s, yes, rampant, very in abundance. It was terrible, yo. And I need people to like realize that everything happens for a reason. We behave for a reason. We do our cultural shit for a reason. We interact with people the way we interact with people for a reason. So that is why I personally had to say the stuff that I had to say real quick with that, because there's this thing that like people don't even realize that that's why we do that shit for real.
Right. Like the joke is, you know, sit down, listen, and learn, and it's been twisted into a joke, but it is literally true. It's like, I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what any black person in America has been through. And then when I look back at some of the shit that just used to be casual in the 80s, it's like, yo, that was racist as fuck, right? Like, so...
Really, yo.
The shit is not old. The shit is not old as in shit has happened yesterday, you know, it's like that kind of thing. And people really think that you can just like say, you know, racism's over and we can just move the fuck on. But then that goes back to the way that those leftists on the internet talk about certain shit is like, no, like it's the what is it, the Malcolm X knife in the back thing. It's like, no, we have to heal the wound. Like, there's a shit ton of work that needs to be done, and every time you want to just move forward, like, you are starting the entire process all over again. Like,
literally, quite literally. It's always as soon as you go over an obstacle, they throw a different shit at you, just reframed, repackaged, so that it's acceptable to the public. I think that one of the things that is really weird is that how we're not allowed to be. No, actually, it's the gatekeeping of knowledge for me. That's my thing. I'm gonna just keep it at that, and I'm gonna just keep it at that, because it's really weird how there's like people who would rather keep the knowledge in academia and not want to give it to the people. Them like, yo, people like literally are not allowed to know what the fuck like they come from.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that, because shout out to my girl. What's my girl name? Shout out to my girl Angela Davis, because my Angela Davis was a professor for a hot brick. I'm pretty sure she's maybe still is a professor. And she said, "I'm giving the knowledge to the people now because y'all need y'all need it."
Yeah, it's bizarre that someone like Aston, who lived in Florida and grew up under the Florida school system, would like have to get beyond that school system, get to college to be able to learn about his own history. Like, these kind of things that are done like constantly, and then even like, you know, white America, I'm talking to you. Your history is not what you believe it is, and the intersectional nature of that history is an important aspect for us to know, to understand what the fuck is going on, right? Like, why are the black people so mad? Let me fucking tell you your fucking history, you know?
No, quite literally, like, and this is the thing about it too. There's certain sayings that are true, and it's true because that's how society works. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000%, knowledge is power. Period. Every single time there's been an empire, where's one of the first places they attack? The library,
right?
The colleges. That is one of the archives is one of the first places they target for a reason. Like, Timbuktu got conquered and fucking like over and over and over again, conquered and reclaimed like over 10 times, yo. Like, there is a reason. There is a reason, yo. There is a reason.
Yeah, and like, when the, you know, whatever anybody's personal favorite government history thing to learn about, I guarantee you that whoever got into power either went to own the knowledge or went to destroy the knowledge in order to keep themselves in power. Like, it happens every time.
Quite literally every time. But yeah, I'm just spitballing right now. I hope I'm not messing up the interview.
No. This is like we touched on AI and we touched on transhumanism, and now we're just riffing. Like I said, I wanted to pick your brain, you know, because like I know that streaming is difficult, but I feel it is a loss for Twitch, and it is a loss for us that you don't stream, because I think that you have a lot to say and a lot to express, and it doesn't get out there because of all the hurdles you have to jump through in order to be a streamer, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of, let's put it this way, I still have potential, and having a lot of potential and a lot of knowledge and a support system is good, but it means that you have a lot of avenues to pursue, and that's my thing currently. Like, I want to go to school. I can't really go to school, like pursue trying to go to school while also streaming. I can't do that.
Right.
That's not something I can do, especially how rigorous college is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like I am, I'm a 50-year-old dude, and streaming 2 hours a day is a challenge, right? Like, because real life's all over you. And going to college is like a whole other level of real life being on top of you like that.
Yes, see. Yeah, I'm also really mean, and I admit to being really mean. I am really mean, and I do not care. I am very much a clear-cut sapphire, and I do not give a fuck. I am really mean online, and I will stand on being extremely mean and extremely vulgar online, okay? I will stand on it. I will be the stereotype. I do not give a fuck. Okay, my thing is that I've said this before on multiple panels on whoever I go on there, me, even on my own stream, I have to repeat myself. My message is not for you if as soon as I say something you're in your feelings.
Right.
It's just not, because sorry, not sorry, y'all continue to genocide Black people and Indigenous people, and y'all are doing a trans genocide now, and I don't give a fuck about fucking semantics, because I will say the fuck I said, because obviously me saying you are imprisoning us and murdering us is not enough for you to actually understand the degree of the fucking situation. So if I have to fucking trigger you, then it is what it fucking is.
Right. Like, Bink is not easy mode, right? Like, Bink is hard mode on dealing with the real history of the United States and the world and everything else. It's like, it is like that. Like, people, the softening of people's language and discourse around certain subjects because they don't want to upset the person that they're talking to. Some shit is just upsetting, right? Like, I don't understand this. If you're in a discussion or whatever, debate, what have you, and you get emotional, then you've lost the debate. Fuck that. Some shit is emotional, right? I care that people are being murdered, right? Like, I'm fucking sorry that I care that people are being murdered. Like, sorry, not sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm human. I mean, like what you want me to do? Just not be human? Like, right. Humans have emotions. Like, humans use certain words in order to provoke language. That's kind of how writing works. It's kind of how language works. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, there's not even a such thing as neutral language for real. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000%. So, what do you want us to do? Because catering to you is doing nothing.
Right.
That's it. And it doesn't matter what privilege group you're from, catering to you does nothing. It keeps us stagnant, if anything. So, like, I need people to understand that they have to cut their losses. I'm gonna keep it 1,000%. Disrespectability bullshit is getting us nowhere. Nowhere. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was effective back in the day when niggas were getting lynched. I mean, you have to do something. But now, nah, that's not the way to go, Chief. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, the status quo is the status quo for a reason, and we have to disrupt it. If we don't disrupt it, then it's going to remain the status quo. And sometimes that is, dealing with difficult subjects. Sometimes it's dealing with difficult language. Sometimes it's just being brutally honest with you. It just has to be like that because, like, you don't understand the way war is because you're insulated from concepts of what a war actually looks like and what it does to people.
Literally though. Shout out to that. Look, listen, there's so many there's so much literature that I am not up to date with.
Sure.
And that I'm not I don't know their existence. And that is also something that I kind of think is really ironic. Okay, y'all, let me do my little conspiracy theory energy, okay? I think it's really interesting how our idea of classical literature
Mm-hmm.
or like modern literature does not equal what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shout out to the things they carry, because I read that and I was like, oh wait, I was bent like out of existence. Call me Bender, because I read that and I'm like, wait, let's put it this way. I don't like violent videos online. I don't like recordings of violent things online. I can't do that. That's not something I can tolerate. But reading that book and it talking about like Vietnam and how like brutal it was, like clear cut and dry, while going through the point of view of the author, was so delicious, yo. It's so bad. It was such a good book, and it's so sad that they had to go through that. Like, it's just so sad, yo. And I think that that's a gem that people need to start realizing, where literature is extremely important, not just academic literature.
Mm-hmm.
Because being able to read other types of literature allows you to interact with the world differently, as well as maybe get that little like that little point of view you are not able to grasp. Because what is the other one that I'm making my people read? We're gonna read Things Fall Apart. We're gonna read Things Fall Apart, because Things Fall Apart is about colonialism, period. That's what it's about. It's 1000% about colonialism and about toxic masculinity, even though like that's the one that everyone harps on the most. It is 1,000 billion trillion % a gem, and that's modern literature, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. The only people who talk about it are people who read books, and I need people who don't read books to know about that book. Both of the books that I just mentioned, I need it to be a thing. I do not need this may go into like our thing about like art and everything. I need people's conception of art and literature to not be stereotypical how it is now, because there's a lot of hidden gems and a lot of themes that we how do I say it? It's like it's being gate kept, but unintentionally gate kept. Like, it's like you're putting people in a box and creating a false narrative of what literature is on purpose. That's exactly what it gives. 1,000% gives that.
Yeah, no, like I appreciate like when Endless was reading Medical Apartheid, right? Like, because I'm listening to this and it's like, you think you know, right? But you know, like, devoid of a level of context to make it visceral. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a lot of that happens when you get to those levels of academia where we're talking about dates and facts, and we're not talking about things that happen to people. And that lack of context promotes, I think, a lack of empathy. Like, even if it's unintentional, like they weren't doing that, there's just a lot of shit to talk about, but at the same time, it does it by its existence.
Yeah, and like, oh my god, because this is why I hate when people say that they know shit about like slavery, Jim Crow, and Black codes. This is why I hate this. Like, I hate when people say this. The reason why I hate when people say this is because they have no conception of what history is. In the sense of, they think history is a straight cut narrative when that's not what it is.
Right.
History is puzzle pieces of different perspectives that groups up into what that period was. So one of the, I've said this before because like I'm on a channel or whatever, one thing that aggravates me the most is the lack of understanding and the lack of point of view in the rampant assault during that time period against Black bodies. That's the thing that aggravates me the most, because when you're in school, what you learn is Today, children, we're going to learn about school, and we're going to learn about slavery, and niggers weren't able to read, and yeah, they were just on a plantation, and some people were on outside, some people were inside, and then people weren't allowed to have a family, and that's it. I'm like, okay, but that's all cool and dandy, but you're not talking about like the extent of which that happened, because you're not talking about pregnant women had to still work the field, had to still do chores, house jobs. You weren't talking about how people who were freed literally had to sell their labor, the equivalent of a slave, in order to pursue like their livelihood. You do not talk about anything that is of substance on purpose. So I do not want anybody like that comes into like my channel or who interact with me to ever say they understand what the fuck slavery, Jim Crow, and black codes were, because you 9 times out of 10 don't read. Keep it 1,000%. You don't read. Don't read. You do not read. I don't read. I don't read. I only know the shit because I'm pursuing my degree.
Right.
That's the only reason why I know. And because I had to do like an academic level research project. That's the only reason why I know. And I know sure and goddamn well you do not read.
Right.
If I don't read and I'm already up here doing this, you do not read. You do not read. You do not read. There's no way.
No, like so, I read and I don't read,
Right. You have to be in the mood to read high key, but that's just because we see our bodies in the pictures.
And there is like I was years old before I understood the context. Like prior to that point, there was still ingrained in my brain through all the education I had received that it was like, yeah, there was like slave rebellions, but they were few and far between. And like last year, I'm like, oh shit, there was like active rebellion from like day one all the way through to the end. It's like
exactly. And then people think rebellion has to be violent. Right. In order for it to be effective, which is like, no, hun, that's not what it. No, like people were, and then like, and that's what I mean by like rabbit. Hold on. Okay, no, but that's the thing that aggravates me, where it's like people have misconceptions about history because of, U.S. has to create a narrative in order to have a history. It's kind of what countries do. Right. But it's also a thing of these simple things matter. And people don't realize that, generally speaking, but it's very, you can see that the most in history, I feel like. Because the fact that people, right, black women, were killing their children after giving birth because they did not want them to live the life that they were living is crazy. You know how much willpower you have to have in order to off your own child?
Yeah.
And I don't mean as in like a rage or like psychosis. I don't mean that. I mean you genuinely have to make a decision to kill off your children or to let them live on a plantation. Right. But you don't get taught that in school, though. You get taught, people were bought and sold, and a woman had children. It's like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's terrible. It is not. It's gruesome. It's horrific. It's very graphic, and that's what history is. Period. Regardless of which time period or empire you talk about, it's just what it is, and that's fine. But people tend to act like we are holier than thou, that we are so progressed as a society when we have to acknowledge what we did before so we don't repeat it. That we do, don't repeat, learn history so you don't repeat it, whatever. We do that as a meme or whatever. But but seriously though, can we not put people in psych wards just because? Can we not do that, please? Can we not put people on plantations just because? Can we not do that, please?
Yeah, we tend, especially in the United States, we tend to overvalue our comfort, right? That's why the goal is always, I need to get rich so that I can be comfortable and then I don't have to deal with the inconveniences of everything anymore. You need to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable and dealing with shit which is real and complex and sometimes painful to learn about and understand. But if you don't do that, then you build a bubble around yourself to protect yourself from reality.
Right. I'm gonna have to go in 20 minutes because I have to eat dinner.
Well, we're coming up on 7 o'clock. I can let you go now unless there was something else you wanted to touch on. I appreciate the shit out of this conversation.
Thank you, Chief. One thing that I want to say is that capitalism is the destruction of culture. Period.
100.
It doesn't matter which culture, which people it come from. It is the destruction of society, period. And the reason why I say that is because the lack of secrecy, and it's something that I focus on too, is the lack of secrecy equals ignorance and it equals power.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of secrecy equals commodification and colonization.
Mm-hmm.
And I 1,000% wish people would understand that, because even when we have cultural revolutions or different ways in which we express ourselves, that gets commodified.
Mm-hmm.
So we aren't able to live in actual comfort. If I'm gonna keep it 1,000%, you can't. It's like it's basically the equivalent of you having high self-esteem, but you go every single day into an environment in which someone looks down upon you.
Mm-hmm.
That is the equivalent. You cannot have something that is good while negativity is constantly pushed upon you.
Yeah.
It's bound to break at some point. And that's how I feel about Black art or Afro art, in which we express ourselves, but we aren't able to breathe. We aren't able to actually indulge in Black happiness and to be secure in ourselves because of society. Mm-hmm. And society can change. It's just that people don't want to.
Right.
And that's just my spiel, because I'm a girl who, I already said this on a panel the other day, I like the long hair, the fucking spikes, the studs, the fucking graphic tees. I like the long nails. I like looking scary. I post that on Twitter. I like looking scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a privilege of being in a predominantly Black community in which I don't get scrutinized for that. Mm-hmm. But not everybody lives in a community like that. So you have to, let's put it this way, leftism is wanting better for everyone.
Right.
And it's important to understand and go back to the basics of what it is when you analyze content. Whatever content that may be, whether it be history or politics or futurism, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my spiel. I'm gonna go eat lasagna.
All right.
All right. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
I'm glad. I appreciate you coming on. Like I really do. Like this was great.
Yes. All right. Have fun. Later, y'all.
Later. Do you enjoy that? Yeah. Magic City. Like, I mean, this is. I talk to the most interesting people, right? And it isn't about like how much education they got, how much of this, how much of that. Bink is a young person, right? But as interesting as a person that I have talked to on this platform, everyone is wonderful. The conversations are great. That is my conceit. That is my privilege, is that I get to talk to these people, and you know, and not everybody does and shit like that. You know what I'm trying to say. So, so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out the VOD. You know, I hope that I hope this continues. I hope I get to talk to more people. Again, if you know a streamer, if you you know, have the feelings and the fortitude to be able to get into VC, you don't have to do a camera. You got something to say about what the things that I talk about. I'm willing to give you that platform. We can have a chat. I am open. It helps when, you know, people reach out to me, but I'm reaching out to people to try and to make those contacts, to educate, to communicate, to, you know, break walls down and build knowledge up and all the fucking things. In the meantime, we're going to raid Paradigm. I will see y'all tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I can typing. I am streamer. One more time. Like I think I need one of them, what you call it, the touch portals or whatever the fuck, because I need to be able to program shit so I can just push a button and do the shit as opposed to typing shit, because, you know, by the end of the 2 hours, I'm a little like, you know, little fried, little tired, my days are long. I know it doesn't look like it, but my days are long. I appreciate all of you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and in the future. Again, anybody wants to talk, or if you know someone who you think should talk to me, do the reach out, all that other good stuff. Network, communication, build community, drink your water, eat something, take your meds if you forgot. Shoggy loves you. So do I.